What's up, sports bettors? Alex here, and we are discussing the best parlays for today. So we have an MLB parlay for tonight, May 21st, and we are going to run through the math of this parlay. So a common misconception about parlays is that they can never be profitable, and that is completely false. The thing is when you place a parlay, the juice compounds. So if you place an unprofitable bet, and then you parlay it with another unprofitable bet, your parlay is even more unprofitable than each individual leg, right? But the same thing works with positive expected value betting. If your wagers are positive EV, then it is absolutely possible to create profitable parlays with OddsJam. So let's go ahead. Let's just go through an example. So I'm going to be placing a two-leg parlay for today. We have Angels versus Athletics. I'm on first inning total runs. Yes, run first inning. YRFI, over half of a total run in the first inning, plus 112 odds on FanDuel. So you can see Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, has only 17 cents in market width as listed under this market width column. And FanDuel is giving you a ton of value, right? We're getting 15 cents of improvement to Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest sportsbook in the world. So the fair line, once you remove the juice, is plus 104.99, roughly plus 105. We're getting plus 112 on FanDuel, so pretty incredible value. And this bet has a profit margin of 3.42%. That's leg number one. Angels, A's, yes run first inning. Now the second leg is going to be Cubs, Diamondbacks. Cubs on the run line, minus 1.5 on the run line, plus 150. Again, Pinnacle, very tight market width, only 15 cents in market width. Fair odds of plus 143, 15 cents in market width, and we're getting 13 cents of improvement to the sharpest sportsbook out there. So lines have continued to move towards the Cubs. As action comes in on the Cubs, this line gets hammered down, right? Pinnacle earlier was like plus 145. Now they're down to plus 137 as action continues to come in on the Cubs, and we're still able to get an incredible price on FanDuel, right? So what I can do is I can take both of these legs and parlay them together, and we can bet on it. So I'll try to bet $500 on this parlay on FanDuel. FanDuel says, hey, you've made too much money off us. Your max wager is $89.30, and I'm going to go ahead and lock it in. For the max wager, plus 430 odds, right? Plus 430 odds. We have $89.30 on this two-leg parlay at plus 430 odds. Now what we need to do is figure out mathematically the win probability for our parlay, right? So what we can do is we can take the market from Pinnacle Sportsbook right here listed under the OddsJam column and back out the implied win probabilities for both of our bets, right? We could make this a 3, 4, 5 leg parlay if we wanted to, but then the math just gets a little more confusing. So we're going to stick with a 2-leg parlay. Right? So the current market on Pinnacle is plus 137, minus 152. You can see that on the Cubs run line, we are getting insane value on FanDuel. Plus 150, right? Bet online, a very sharp sports book, and Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker out there, both aren't even giving you above plus 137. We're getting plus 150 on FanDuel, right? Pretty big line discrepancy. And this is why it's so critical to have multiple sports books as a sports bettor, right? If you are placing bets at plus 135 or plus 137 when another sports book in your state is giving you plus 150, you are doomed, right? You need to get great prices. We've been over this a few times, but if you go 50 and 50 as a sports bettor betting at plus 105 odds, $250 stake, you'd be up like $625. If you go 50 and 50 betting at minus 105 odds, $250 stake, you'd be down like $600. So even though these differences in odds seem relatively small, right? The difference between plus 140 and plus 150, it's just 10 cents. These differences make all the difference in terms of your profit and loss, right? Profit and loss over the course of the long run. Nobody wins every day as a sports bettor. It's impossible to win every bet. So if you can improve the odds you're getting by 5 to 10%, you will see your profits skyrocket, literally skyrocket, which is why it is so critical to have multiple sports books as a sports bettor. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's go through the math. Pinnacle's market plus 137, minus 152. So the way that any sportsbook makes money is they add in juice to their market, right? They vig their market. So Pinnacle Sportsbook has a model. All these values are constantly changing as weather changes, right? The total is going to move. If it's a really windy day, the total may go lower. Or for football, if it's really windy, the total may go lower. Passing yards may go lower for quarterbacks, right? So the market is very dynamic in sports betting. Just like the price of a stock, it's constantly ticking around. It's no different in sports betting. Sportsbooks are constantly moving around odds. So essentially, Pinnacle's model is implying that the Cubs are 41.16% to cover the minus 1.5 run line, right? So the way that sportsbooks work is they back out a fair win percentage, 41.16%. They back out the fair odds, plus 143, which we can see on the positive EV page, plus 142.95, roughly plus 143. So that is the fair odds on the Cubs run line. We're getting plus 150, which is why this is a mathematically profitable positive EV bet. And then they add in VIG to their markets, right? So Pinnacle's only giving you plus 137 on Cubs minus 1.5. And that's because they think the actual price is plus 143. This is a zero hold fair market, right? There's no VIG. Plus 143, Cubs minus 1.5. Diamondbacks plus 1.5 would be minus 143. That's a market with no VIG, no hold. But sportsbooks want to make money. They make their money through the VIG, through the spread. So sportsbooks back out the fair win probability for a bet. They do this independently. Every sportsbook sets odds independently. So they back out their fair win probability for a bet, the zero VIG odds, and then they add in juice or VIG to their market. They add in their spread, their cut. But it's still possible, right, to find mathematically profitable bets as a sports bettor because all these sportsbooks have different odds, right? Pinnacle's market, they're only giving you plus 137, sharpest sportsbook in the world on the Cubs minus 1.5 run line. We're getting plus 150 on FanDuel. So long story short, the win probability based on Pinnacle's market, based on the market of the sharpest sportsbook out there, is 41.16%, which we see right here. Then we can do the same thing for this yes run first inning, minus 103, minus 114. So minus 103, minus 114. So the yes run first inning was priced minus 103 on Pinnacle. We're getting plus 112. Well, that's what we got right here, right? Plus 112 in our parlay on FanDuel. You can see I can't even cash this bet out, right? Like I'm locked in. I know this bet is good. I know it's profitable. Tons of bets open already today. Hopefully we're going to keep it going. Over 8.5 in the Angels-A's game. We got over 7.5 in the game. Some NBA player props, fading Tatum. Lots and lots of bets. But anyways, let's go back here. 48.78% is the win probability for yes run first inning in the Athletics Angels game, right? So 2 positive expected value bets from OddsJam, 2 positive EV bets from OddsJam. So what we can do next, now that we have the implied win probability, our estimate of the fair win probability for both wagers, the Cubs run line and yes run first inning, is we can back out the win probability for our parlay, right? All a parlay is we have to win 2 bets for a parlay to win. If both bets don't win, we lose, right? It's pretty simple. Now these bets are uncorrelated, right? The Athletics Angels game having a run in the first inning has no correlation to the Cubs covering the minus 1.5 run line. No correlation. So to back out the win probability for our parlay, we just multiply these numbers together. 0.4878 times 0.4116. So our parlay has a roughly 20% chance of hitting. We got plus 430 odds, staking 89.30 to win 473. So we're staking 89.30 at plus 430 odds. So our profit, if we win, is $384, right? This payout on FanDuel includes your stake. So this is your stake plus your profit. Here, I'm just including the profit. So we have a parlay where we're winning 384 in profit if this parlay hits. And we're winning 20% of the time. So then we can back out our EV, right? So the formula for EV is just the probability you win times your payout if you win, right? Minus the probability you lose times, your stake, which is how much you'd lose is our stake of 89.30. So essentially 20% of the time, roughly 20.07% of the time, we're winning $384 in profit. The other, roughly 80% of the time, we are losing our stake of 89.30. So we have previous videos discussing the formula for EV, but essentially it's just win probability times profit if win minus stake times the probability you lose, which is just 1 minus your win probability. So our bet on FanDuel, our parlay for today, our MLB parlay has $6 in EV, in edge, quantified in dollars, mathematically. And the edge is 6.412%. So a mathematically profitable parlay for today. I would hit some of these other bets, but I think I already have them bet. Wow, look at this hockey bet that just popped up. Ooh, look at the EV on this. Under 6.5 goals, Oilers Flames. I gotta hit this. Oilers Flames, under 6.5 goals. So we can go to alternates here. Under 6.5 goals. And FanDuel's going to say, yo, you've made too much money off us. We'll give you $71.40. I'm still going to hit it, add it to my bet tracker. Insane EV. And then we can also hit the under 7 goals, which is another positive EV bet. So 540 we'll get on this bad boy. So boom. Now we got in 2 positive EV hockey bets as well. So we got 540 on this. And what we can do is, again, this just popped up. This is what I'm saying about the sports betting market being dynamic, right? Odds are constantly changing. Under 6.5 goals, sportsbooks are opening hockey markets for tomorrow. Plus 140 on FanDuel. BetOnline and Pinnacle are only giving you plus 115, roughly, right? We're getting a lot of improvement. We're getting like 25 cents of improvement. This is an arbitrage bet to both sportsbooks. Absolutely insane, right? Whenever there's an arbitrage bet, that means you can make a risk-free profit betting on both sides. So if we had a BetOnline and a FanDuel account, we could make a risk-free profit betting the over on BetOnline, the under on FanDuel, make a risk-free profit. So that also means you know, like for a fact, there has to be a mathematically profitable bet, right? This is a financial market inefficiency whenever arbitrage exists. You know that there has to be a good bet. So we hit 2 of these bets, so I'll add them both to my bet tracker. Again, you want to add bets to your free OddsJam bet tracker so you can follow along with your profit and loss and things like that. So that's the bet. We got 2-leg parlay, really good. Also some random hockey bets that I didn't expect to hit, but hey, a sharp sports bettor got to be a sharp sports bettor. So let's make some money with parlays.